Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011119111.
The government just starts paying you to have kids, then, I mean, what kind of parents are we going to have?
But if that incentive...
Maybe there is a structure to it. Maybe there's a structure to it.
But the biggest obstacle in everything I read is like, I can't afford to bring kids into the world. So this would make it to like, okay, well, let's try this out. Let's see how this works. $5,000, like I said earlier, horrible plan. You just can't give $5,000 to somebody for having a baby because then you'll have more bad babies. You need to make it paid further down the road. It's a long-term investment, and you need to make the carrot a little tastier than just $5,000.
And the one thing I do like about
hell, didn't we get that?
Donald Trump. I'll say the one thing I like, whether you hate him or like him or whatever, you can't deny that he's not out there busting his hump every day. I mean, we never saw the president of the last administration.
Well, he did try to get taxpayers to pay for college educations.
Yes, to get reelected. But this guy is out there every single day, like every single day. They were at the Pope's funeral over the weekend, and him and Zelensky from Ukraine were sitting down in chairs by themselves. It was kind of a cool picture, still trying to work things out. I mean, he's out there trying to do something every day. He makes mistakes. Of course he does. And then he fixes them, though. Have you noticed that? Nobody really talks about the fact that they went and laid off a bunch of people in the federal government, one department, I forget what it was. And then they're like, okay, wait, that's not going to work. Bring those people back. They're just trying to save taxpayer dollars. And of course, I know some people are listening to me talk right now, and they're like, you're crazy. You're drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever. But at least I see the guy trying to do things.
I know we got to get to John's.
He tries to fix it.
I know we got to try to get to John's phone call, but it's funny. I was talking to somebody who's liberal over the weekend. I told them I went to Yosemite last week, and they were like they just want the worst to happen, right? And they're like, oh, this was their response. Okay, they're like, oh, was there enough people there working? I was like, yeah, the place was humming. They had it going good.
Well, there is. That's a story. This late last week and early this week is, that the Corps of Engineers and the Forest Service and some of those federal jobs, they did a hiring freeze. So they're saying they have to close all these national parks or these campsites, or all the way down.
Every campsite was open.
National park
that could be open. There were some that were closed
because they weren't able to hire enough people to maintain it. Well, these are public areas that we all pay taxes for. We should have. There's also sheriffs and state patrol or CHP. Like, there's also other law enforcement agencies besides the Park Service that will be using some of those, not all of those, but will be monitoring those areas. So I don't know. It's just so much wishy-washy.
I just thought it was so funny. They're like, oh, I can't believe you went there now. Well, you're so brave.
All right, John, hang on. We'll get to your call coming up. All right, paying to have kids. Getting paid to have a
Incentivizing
kid.
Families is what I like to call it.
Getting paid to have a kid from the government.
Incentivizing families is what I like to call it.
This is Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out this morning, talking about all kinds of crazy stuff, including this new idea that we would incentivize, as Jeff says, incentivize families to have kids, meaning that if you can't afford to have kids, because in a new survey, that's what most people said, the reason why birth populations are down. That's what
birth rates, yes.
Birth rates are down. Yeah, birth rates, that's the word I'm looking for. So people are saying, well, we're just waiting and saving because it takes a lot of money to raise a kid, and we just don't have it right now. So the government is saying, well, we need to get families going. I mean, we need to keep the population up. We need to keep the economy strong. And so we're going to incentivize a program where we're going to give each family money if they have a kid. And we're like, well, that's kind of dangerous, because what about all the losers out there that just go out there just to have a kid to get a paycheck? Jeff had a pretty good plan, and quickly that plan is?
It is to pay people money. And I'm going back on my plan from yesterday, because that money would double every year. Maybe you start off at a lower, like it's $500.
But you get more money as you get married and you stay together. So you have to be married couple, and then that means you have to make a commitment to each other and that kid. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the longer you stay married and you stay in that person's life, the more money.
The payday is more at the end,
I like that a lot better than
$5,000.
Just a quick check.
Yeah, it makes society better, And maybe you get a church bonus too if you go to church.
John, thanks for hanging on. What'd you want to say?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
The text line is down. Yeah, I was typing away.
It'll pop up. It's just we don't know when.
Yeah, just right now it says an error message.
Imagine our joy when we have to respond to 15 million text messages that people were trying to get through.
I'm sure of that. Yeah. Well, I'm down here in Napomo, waiting on the mayor somewhere around here. I don't know where he's at. But
Look for the Hexagon office.
The Hexagon office.
Yeah.
And then my friend is it smells what the government's cooking. That's
Okay.
Michael, great guy. But hey, Jeff, I had to chime in. I'm a 64-year-old man. Okay, Lost kids, been married 44 years, and yes, I could not agree more. The single biggest problem with society today is men don't stick around to raise their kids.
Oh, terrible.
So
You got to in fact, you shouldn't even incentivize having babies. You should incentivize staying married. That's where the
But
real
that doesn't make
that's
any,
where the real issue.
if somebody doesn't want to be married, they're going to be an angry, terrible person. There could be physical violence. I mean, you're opening a door to force somebody to do something they don't want to do and feel trapped, which is only going to make the situation worse. We need to teach morals in this country again. That's morals.
Yes, and this is how you do it. You got to incentivize. Okay, and I'll even take it a step further. You're incentivizing morals at this point, right? Like no father should ever walk away from their children. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with morals, and men need to, but the problem is this is not this generation. It's gone on for generations. It's just perpetuated and just keep on. We see it all over the place.
Yeah, boomers were the first. The boomers were the first one to willy-nilly go get divorces. How many people do you know have been married and divorced 3-4 times? Like,
yes, my brother-in-law is on his 4th marriage.
Yeah,
and he's my age. Super strict Mormon, but he's number 4.
I mean, I don't know. I see what Jeremy's saying. You shouldn't force people to be married, especially if they're in a bad situation. No. But also, if you get into this thing together, you got to make the most of it. You're like, okay, they're going to incentivize us to have a family and have a family unit. Let's make the most of it and do it the way that we're supposed to do it.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying when you do it that way, you want somebody to be a dad and be there for their kids and be there for their family because they want to be there, because then they'll be a good person. The guy that's just getting a paycheck to be there, he's not going to be involved. He's not going to be a good dad.
I don't know. That pay goes up every year, man. You celebrate birthdays. I mean, come on. That's how you celebrate a birthday right there.
I mean, listen, and I don't mean to just pick on guys here because, it goes both ways.
All right, 6 years old, 32,000. Let's go.
There's huge portions of this country where, guys knock up girls and then they bounce and they have nothing to do with them ever again. And that's horrible.
Right.
And
imagine
these kids
if they
end up
had
getting into a lot of trouble.
To stay with them.
Yeah, I mean, because they have no 2-figure parents in their lives. They don't have
so you agree with my plan then? You like my plan?
I don't like your plan. I just want people to do better, but I don't know how you do that. So
yeah, but you've got to incentivize the behavior.
You take my taxpayer
especially
dollars, when John's taxpayer dollars, and everybody else's, and we pay them to impregnate girls, but they have to stick around. I don't get that.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to stick around, and they got to raise the family.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011111911.